Next up, we have Cori Merryman.
Hello.
Hello.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Thank you all for coming today and taking time out of your Father's Day weekend, and happy Father's Day to all of you that are and are a part of any children in Mohave County or the surrounding nation's lives. My name is Cori Merryman. I am standing up to be your next sheriff. I'm a Christian constitutional conservative Republican. I have a foundation to back that. I have been endorsed by Sheriff Richard Mack. Big endorsement. He's the founder of the Constitutional Sheriff Peace Officers Association. He's the only sheriff to take the federal government to court and win. Who am I? A little bit about myself for those of you who don't know me. I am a former deputy sheriff hostage negotiator for Mohave County Sheriff's Office. I'm also a federal firearms manufacturer. My husband Ed, my son Israel are here in the back. Everybody say hi. He's being a little loud, sorry. So, what do? I manufacture AR-15s. I have 2 factories. I manage over 600 accounts at our factory. I decided to step away from Mohave County Sheriff's Office to stand up for you, to represent Mohave County Sheriff's Office. Why am I standing up? Ask yourself this. We need to change the culture of Mohave County Sheriff's Office so that everyone will be treated equally with the dignity and respect that they deserve, so that all of the employees will be treated with the opportunities available fairly and equally. We also need to put the safety and security of Mohave County and the residents first. So how are we going to do that? We need to implement an action plan. And actually, through all of our previous debates, I am the first sheriff candidate to announce my run. I've been campaigning for over a year. And many candidates come before you and talk about the issues. We all know what the issues are. How many of you want real solutions? I know I do. I know I definitely do. With my business perspective, I definitely have what it takes to redirect Mohave County. I also felt the crutch as to why we're short-staffed. Why are we down so many deputies? Not all of them leave because of law enforcement. They leave for other opportunities. I understand that. But there's no reason why we can't retain them, and we have the highest turnover rate in Mohave County. So, with that being said, today, I would like to give you some of the reasons and examples as to what we need to direct in Mohave County. We need to institute a community neighborhood service program. What that is we get so many neighborhood complaints in residential areas of everything from drugs, trafficking. What we need to do is have actual officers handling that instead of just turning it over into a civil call. We also need to institute a website strictly for the sheriff's office, not just a link a pull-down bar where people can file or not be able to file a report. People should be able to, in this day and age at the sheriff's office, be able to file reports on the county website if they do not want an officer to respond. We also need to institute a transparency in the sheriff's office by forming a citizen advisory group that works hand in hand with every officer. What will this do? What I mean by transparency is we will crush the good old boy structure. That puts the power back into your hands, the people of Mohave County. That bridges the relationship of the people, the deputies, and the supervisors. Anytime that there is a complaint or problem, who's going to handle that? The Board of Citizens. The Board of Citizens, what that would do is have that board go over any disciplinary problem. Once again, as I said, stopping the good old boy structure and segregating the disciplinary action between one officer being treated one way and another being treated another. We also need to institute a forensic science team. What is that? That is detectives who just strictly go out and collect evidence instead of tying up our officers unnecessarily. How many of you go to the doctor and see medical transcription when you go to the doctor's office? I know I do. That's something we also need to institute at the sheriff's office. It will definitely correct the mistakes, the errors on reports, and what it'll also do is free up the officer to be able to go out and actually be proactive. We need to also correct the magnet division. What's wrong with it? We're letting the low-level criminals off to try to get the bigger fish. But what does that do? What does that do? That it initially tells them that they're going to get off, so they're going to go continue to do the burglaries and the crimes that we need to stop from the get-go. We need a zero-based tolerance for all criminals, especially when drug-related. We also need to implement a Scared Straight program. Anybody know Sheriff Joe Arpaio? I know I do. I got to meet him. I've actually traveled the state to meet various leaders in the community. I have sat down with board of supervisors as well and spoke with them about my run, and have been encouraged to run because of what I have to offer. With the Scared Straight program, that would help redirect youth children who seem to be problematic and troubled, and then it would redirect them on a more positive approach. We need to also reinstitute a cadet program for juniors. That way we can advance them into sheriff's deputies in hopes to retain them to help serve our community after they leave the junior cadet program and are able to become a part of our community and Mohave County Sheriff's Office. We need to redirect our boating program. We used to have boats in almost every district and body of water, and we don't anymore. We also need open access to the media. If we're trusting our officers to go on calls of service, burglaries, serious crimes, why are they prevented from access to the media? We need 100% transparency. There is no reason, what are we hiding, if we're not allowing them to speak openly and freely to the media? We also do not have in place an emergency response team. We have the search and rescue team, and we also have our tactical operations unit. Our tactical operations unit is not full-time, nor do they qualify all the time. All of our administration also needs to attend the National FBI Training Academy, so we get them to reach national standards of training and capabilities to work from the top down to help direct our leaders all the way down from the sheriff's office. Under my administration, there will be no quotas. I felt the crutch of being forced to make traffic stops. I actually saved some emails from some supervisors telling me that I would suffer consequences if I did not give traffic stops. Seriously, I have them. I saved them. What does that do? That puts a crutch on them to stop from being able to patrol the neighborhoods, to stop the crimes, and be proactive. No more quotas under my administration. Absolutely not. I think it should go back to the decision of the officer. As I said, we need to look at the bigger picture and not put the thumb down on these officers and redirect them and utilize our extra time and resources other ways to help advance them. And like I said, we definitely need to destroy the good old boy system and promote based on performance and excellence in education and the public perception of quality with provenness of customer service and effectiveness. So that's a little bit of it. I have more in the jail that I could go into that I'd like to redirect. We actually work with, we have food trays that are shipped in. I want to redirect it. I met with Sheriff Drum, and what they do is they cook in-house everything. We need to take those inmates and have the low-risk inmates cook the food, lower the cost for you, the taxpayers. That's a big one to me. Food trays. We have huge kitchens at the sheriff's office jail. Huge kitchens that aren't being utilized. We have 2 substation jails that are closed. I know, I used to have to drive up to the Pilot when I worked there for a transport when I arrested somebody. I've sat down with board of supervisors who have told me that the funds are available to reopen them. So we either need to reopen them or we need to build an energy efficient one, as been described to me, and put it out by the Pilot to be efficient so we can properly serve you. Ask yourselves, okay, she just gave me all of these great ideas to help fix Mohave County. How does she plan on doing this? I announced last year that I was running for sheriff. And in my announcement, I said we need to start with zero-based budgeting. It's a direction that we use as a stepping stone to advance us through the process of the budget instead of just voting in a tax hike to put the burden back on you. I'm not saying that that isn't something that we might end up having to do, but we definitely need to address that first before putting that on you guys. So thank you for this time. Out of time, I got the tea. So thank you for this time. God bless you all. I ask for your vote, your support, and thank you.
The same question.
I'm actually Iroquois and Sioux Indian, so tribal rights are very important to me as well. My grandfather was the chief of the Iroquois tribe in Wisconsin, so that's part of my whole platform, that not just with the sheriff's office, we need to incorporate other agencies and also training and respect of the rights and freedoms of religion. So that's what we need to do. We need to connect all of the agencies and utilize those resources, everything from calls for service, search and rescue, and make sure, like I said, we respect the scope of authority of the tribes and all of the agencies encompassing Mohave County. I agree. I don't think any of us would follow that. We all stand before you. I am a constitutional candidate for sheriff. And anything coming down from the federal level is regulated by the sheriff's office. That's more like a legislature, state representative question, if they would enforce it. We have to follow the rules and the laws of Mohave County, of our county, and of our state. But when it comes to federal regulation, that comes from the federal level. And no, with the sheriff's office, because it is a constitutional position, what that does is that means that position oversees the entirety of the county. Federal agencies actually work off of work permits that are governed by the sheriff, that are supposed to be overseen by the sheriff. So it's the sheriff's responsibility to make sure that our county and our state laws and regulations are followed through. And not just something somebody said at the federal level. We have to go by what the county says. And I think I speak for everybody up here unless anybody wants to add.
Yeah.
I'm willing to work with other
Federal
agencies.
Fish and Wildlife Officers.
But no. What it boils down to is when you're dealing with federal levels, if they want to come work for the sheriff's office, they need to go through the sheriff's office, through the academy. There's other ways around that. So no, I am not just going to go around deputizing federal agencies to encroach on our rights with their federal policies when they haven't even gone through the process.
Even though you're short of staff.
It doesn't matter. We need to take the steps to redirect Mohave County and bridge that gap to keep those deputies who have 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then the 20-year veterans who work for the sheriff's office. We need to retain them exactly through the plan that I just described to you. But no, regardless of how short we are, we'll do overtime before. I'm not going to deputize federal agents in Mohave County. No way.
Can I take
Actually is 54% of our budget, and there are ways with the vehicle fund. Right now, a majority of the deputies are driving Chevy Tahoes. They're 2-wheel drive and they're low to the ground. What about Dodge Chargers? They're almost half the cost. Almost half the cost to you, the taxpayers. When you look at the sheriff's office as a whole, we are failing. Mohave County. I understand that we are going to lose officers to other agencies, but we also need to even the playing. We need to have a team designated to recruiting viable people in the community, like the junior cadet program. And I've even thought of reinitiating the corporals to bridge that gap between deputy and sergeant. I feel that there's a lot of lack of training with the sergeants. Not that I have a problem with any of the sergeants, but they could have gotten the appropriate training by taking the step to being corporals. We could also use the corporals for the recruitment program and help bring people, help retain them. But as I said, zero-based budgeting. I myself as a deputy received a raise my very first year. After that, ask me if I got one. No, there's nowhere for our men and women who protect and serve you to advance to. They go to Bullhead, they go to Lake Havasu. They leave law enforcement completely, that's fine. But we historically have the highest turnover. We don't need to just hire these officers, we need to retain them. We need to keep them with those skills and leadership. It costs in excess almost $100,000 to put a deputy through the academy, put them through the training till they're a viable asset, gone through field training. Can we afford to keep doing that and project a 1-year deputy to your house for a service call? Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I want somebody experienced, somebody that wants to be vested in my community to serve me and to serve you, the residents. So that's my plan. We need a recruitment system and we need to analyze the budget. And I understand it goes through finance. I run a multi-million-dollar budget at my factory as well. So that's what we need to do. There are many steps and directions that we can go with the sheriff's office to free up the funding, to give them the raises, and also to treat them with the dignity and respect that they deserve. Hence my transparency program of opening up to a board of directors, to the people for disciplinary action, so you guys have a voice and have a relationship, and vice versa with the law enforcement. Thank you. It falls back to the budget. We need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I've actually been to a few of the auctions for like Mohave County property, and for instance, administration bought $5,000 in our budget worth of new chairs. They were auctioned off for $1 a piece. They were $30 a piece. That's $29 lost. Where did they end up? On a shooting range with the arms broken off. I mean, it's things like that, little things like that, that all build up. We look at programs like a race. Do they arrest anybody, or do they just pick up trash in the desert and go dump it off? I believe they just dump it off. Law enforcement can take over that responsibility. That program has about $1 million in it, if I'm correct. We could reabsorb those officers. They can come apply with us. It's simple things like that from that business perspective that I have. We have to redirect the money from programs that are seen as waste, and the only way to do that is zero-based budgeting. But when you look at the budget, there's programs that work off of grants. Our canine program, how many of you are aware of how many canine dogs we currently have? How many?
One.
Exactly.
We had
Thank you.
4 a few years ago.
We have to fix our defunct canine program. It was over $300,000 to start that from donated funds, but also I'd like to see it become a part of our budget. Why? Because we have to do things like car shows, trying to raise money. Is that being effective service? We look at those officers in those rural areas. Why can't we partner them up with the canine dog? At one point, we used to have a few in each district. Then it got down to 1 in each district, and now we're down to just 1. If we lose that, what a waste of that money that the people believed in to help us have a viable program to help protect and serve their officers too. It's not an easy fix, you guys. I mean, just by hiring these officers, it's going to take over a year for them to be trained, to be on their own, to retain them. And I do agree with the other candidates in reference to go by the reviews. Look at the reviews. If they're excelling, they deserve a raise. Mine's actually on a 5% raise, but I do know, like I said, and I'm pretty sure, not an exact number, but it's $1 million budget for our race program. And they don't do any arresting, anything I see as substantial as being beneficial to correct the criminal activity. We could ask them if they want to come work for the sheriff's office again, retain those certified officers who go through the training. But also, our officers qualify once a year, even our TOU team. I'd like to see us get to the standard of our local law enforcement agencies of qualifying quarterly. I feel it's important. Some officers struggle with range qualification, and I want to make sure they're able to protect us to the best ability. So I hope I answered your question. I actually have not done any interviewing. I feel it's important to focus on the task at hand right now, so that is being here to serve you. I'm not against interviewing anyone that I feel is qualified for the position as a constitutional deputy chief, willing to be there for Mohave County Sheriff's Office. I think that, to me personally, that's a decision you should make after, and this is just my personal opinion. I have nothing against anybody who's already made that decision. I do feel, though, it should be somebody connected to the sheriff's office. We need to promote from within, have that leadership and lead by example of that, hey, you can promote from within the sheriff's office. That's somebody who's going to actually understand the needs of the department and what we need. So no, I have not selected one nor done interview process. I felt it was more important to come up with my plan for you and what I intend on addressing. As far as volunteers, I have connected with many volunteers in the community, people who have been members of Posse. We have tons of people with 40 plus years of administrative experience. We need to cut the red tape, make it easier for them to volunteer so we don't lose the potential of their services. Have them sign a waiver form, and that's it. Let's sign them up, get them to be an asset to Mohave County to help us.
Yeah.